So just tell us a little bit about that. So you're implementing, you're trying to actually solve, solve this problem yourself, right? You're
Mhm.
actually implementing merchant accounts and like trying to set up payments on one of these projects, or how did it come about?
So actually, what happened is, so one of the projects that I'd worked on back a few years previously was just trying to build a better web framework in Lisp, and I guess I was right that better web frameworks are interesting, but I was very wrong in thinking that like anyone would use Lisp. Um, but I guess sort of by 2009 or 10 or whatever it was, we'd both sort of build tons of web applications, but we'd never charge for any of them. Like we literally never charged for any of the software that we'd built on the web, and we started sort of wondering why that was, and and we sort of looked back and we realized that we'd actually sort of started applying for merchant accounts at like various points, or we'd sort of like taken the first steps for like integrating with PayPal, but just it never quite been sort of the biggest priority at any one time, and just the net result is that we had never sort of taken a single payment on the web. And yet we were sort of really taken with what was kind of happening in other industries, where there were these kind of very developer-oriented services coming along and sort of building these really nice abstraction layers over sort of some particular piece of infrastructure, and just making it really easy to go and do something. So the obvious examples are things like Linode or SliceHost or EC2 for hosting, also obviously Twilio for telephony, just like a lot of these companies. And so I think it was October of 2009 or something, we sort of had this idea that maybe it would be kind of interesting to build a slice host for payments. And that's how we thought of it. It was a slice host for payments. I guess a bunch of you have probably like used some of these hosting providers, but at the time EC2 was still sort of very bare bones, and there wasn't really much of a web interface, and it was like you had to use all these command line tools to administer it. Whereas SliceHost had this like really nice slick GUI where you could just start, like you could like click build server, and like 60 seconds later you'd have a server. And we sort of wanted that like magical instantaneous experience for payments.
Sure.